So, hello everyone. My name is Stefan. I'm the CEO of Loncom Consulting, and today we're yet in another episode of Partnership Chat where we highlight our amazing partners here at Loncom Consulting. And today I have Anthony from StudioHawk. So, Anthony, please introduce yourself and StudioHawk.
Thank you very much, Stefan. So yes, I'm Anthony Barone. I'm the co-founder and MD on StudioHawk. We are an SEO agency. What we do is we help to drive business value through SEO, through Google, and help to get people's websites to the top of Google to make it a larger channel for them, whether they've got problems with competitors, whether their website's no good, whether they need to make more money, whether their ads are too expensive, whether they've got screwed over by an agency. Our job is to be able to make their website a larger driver of traffic, revenue, leads, whatever their business goals may be, and improve that through SEO. So that's me, and that's why we're here today.
Cool. I love it. It was a very polished, kind of introduction to the company and yourself. But I assume that your journey didn't start in SEO, that you didn't dream as a kid of, running an SEO agency altogether. So what led you to Studio Hawk?
Oh, mate, what a story. So I fell into SEO. So my journey, I thought I was going to be in Australia working in sport, running a football club, essentially. That was what I wanted to do. I either wanted to be a commentator or wanted to work in football and run a football club. And that didn't really work out. So I was in hospitality for 6 years. I was working in a bar, a nightclub, for all those years in between studying and doing volunteering at a football club. And there's not that many jobs in AFL or Australian rules football. So I was just like, well, I can't be at the hotel forever, can't be in the pub forever. And I saw a job and I met Harry for a junior SEO. And I didn't have any clue what SEO was, but as soon as I did a bit of research, it was like, that's digital, that's online, that'll be around for the next 10 years. And I don't have to go to uni for it. And I can learn under Harry. So I'm like, great. So I got the job starting off 2 days a week. Then I got to 4 days a week in the start of 2018. By the end of 2018, we had 100 clients and 12 people when it was just three. So 2018 was a really massive year for StudioHawk because I learned and grew through there. And then I became a senior SEO specialist after 18 months, moved to the UK in August of 2019 after only being in SEO for 18 months. And thought, well, never run a business before, never been to the UK before, don't have any mates here. We don't really have any money because we're still a relatively new business in Australia, but I'm going to the UK. So what are we going to do? So we'll start the business. So started the business, came over here, went from employee to co-founder and have grown the business through Corona to now having 13 people, 80 clients with a range of nice e-com and B2B businesses with a team of 13 here in Shoreditch. So I've gone from the person who never thought they'd run a business and just be the company man and stay in Australia and never leave Australia to coming to the UK, coming to London with some of the best agencies, best SEOs, harder market, harder competition, better knowledge, better in-house teams, Europe on the doorstep, a lot more challenging, a lot harder, a lot more difficult than Australia. Um, but we're still here 5 years later. We've grown and we built a nice foundation. We built some friendships. We built some relationships. We built a nice team. And I think we're only just getting started, but that's the long and the short of the journey so far.
Love it. Love it. I think I can relate definitely to what you just said here. Me coming from Croatia into the UK, founding my own business later on. I started with education, but then I have Loncom right now. So I can kind of relate to your pains and the scared moments and the happy moments at the same time and so on. So my big question for you is going to be, do you miss Australia?
I miss Australia for my family and friends and the weather sometimes when you get on those certain days. But overall, I don't miss Australia because the opportunity that we have got here to build Studio Hawk, the personal growth I've gone through, the friendships we've made, the relationships we've made, I never would have had that opportunity in Australia. So for me, the growth from a business and personal perspective is something that's unmatched because I was in a nice bubble in Australia. So family and friends, yes, I do miss, but the greater good is being here in the UK, being on this side of the world where the action's happening and having the opportunity to grow Studio Hawk in a much, much harder market and go through that journey from a personal and professional perspective.
Yeah. Do you think that Australian market, let's talk about the e-commerce here, and then of course you can reflect on B2B because you also work with those clients. Is do you think it's behind the UK and the US and Canada. Do you think it's ever going to come to the level that we have it here and so on? So what is your view on the Australian market altogether?
From what I've seen in the Australian market, from when I was there, Australia as a country is just behind. They're far away from everything. They're in their own bubble. They're far away from Europe. They're far away from the UK. They're far away from the US. From an e-commerce perspective, it's a much smaller market. There are e-coms there and it is growing, but the population is only 30 million and it's spread between a massive country and most of the population is in 3 cities. So e-commerce is growing, brands are growing, but it's just not, the volume's not there. The agency volume isn't there. The market is smaller. The economy isn't doing as well because the economy is pretty much focused on property, construction, and mining. So e-commerce, while growing, it's not as advanced as the UK in terms of tactics, in terms of the sheer volume of e-coms and businesses that are out there are just nowhere near the UK. The competition on the agency front is nowhere near what it is in the UK and US. US is like 50 small countries. So Australia has its good parts, but in terms of e-com, it's not as like, even looking at things like e-com collab club and things like that, right? The things that I see around e-com, right? And the things that agencies or tech partners and people like us do on the event front, it's not as strong in Australia. Might be smaller versions of it, but it's not there. Um, so I would say like it's a bit behind. They do some good things, but the sheer volume of people and agencies and brands just isn't there.
Yeah. I think, I've never been to Australia, but we're working with clients in the region of, New Zealand and Australia. And I think the biggest difference is that you know how it goes when you come to events in the UK and then in the US. You're overwhelmed with so many tech solutions, so many new things that are happening in the e-commerce. So it's hard to even keep track of those. While when we talk to some Australian clients and then they have a specific problem, and then we say, oh, there is a tech that can literally solve all that problems at once. They're like, oh, we didn't even know that that exists. So I think that that's quite common. I think Australia has a lot of potential, in my opinion, being very country, being Western oriented, the language, there is no barriers between, kind of looking at it internationally. So there is potential, but maybe something that UK was 5, 6, 10 years ago, Australia is right now. So if they just keep on building what they have right now, it could come up as a very interesting market. Although all of us want to turn to the UK, to Canada, to US, especially Shopify being in Canada. So Canada is also attractive, although being not that big of a country in comparison to the US, China, and all the others. So no, thank you very much for sharing that. I want to come back a little bit on StudioHawk. So, when I type in SEO in Google, there's going to be a ton of agencies out there that provide similar services to yourself. So, UK has, I think, per capita, the largest number of marketing agencies than any other country. What is the selling point of StudioHawk, and why do companies decide to go with you guys rather than your competitors? And what's that one differentiator from you than any other SEO agencies?
I think for us, it's again, hard question. Every second agency is an award-winning agency. Every second agency does or says they can do this. I think for us, specialists in SEO, don't care about anything else. We only focus on SEO. Our specialties lie in e-commerce, and some B2B because I like the diversity. But for us, it's all about, I look at it as person to person, who you want to work with. Because everyone will say they do SEO, everyone will say they do this. But at the end of the day, who's got the results? Who do you like working with? Who's got the case studies? Who can actually do what they say they do? And who can actually prove that they can match your business goals with that marketing channel? So for us, yeah, we do SEO like a bunch of other people, but we are specialists in that everyone's got awards. We know how that works. We like to work with good people. I'd hope they hold us to account. We like to hold clients to account. We don't sign everybody. We want to make sure that we provide value. We can't work with everybody, but we make that abundantly clear as to these are the reasons why we can't help you. We want to provide value. Our reputation is staked on it. People are going to be putting money, time, and effort into an agency. We do our best to make sure that they are going to get the best possible service from StudioHawk. And if they're not a right fit for StudioHawk, we'll let them know. But I think that the other specialty for us is that everyone is an SEO specialist at StudioHawk. There is no account managers. There's no like people who just do emails all day and that middleman. The client is working directly with the SEO specialist. So they don't have to worry about like, oh, we'll wait till I ask the dev about this. I'll wait till I ask about the specialist for this. they can communicate directly with the specialist who's working with them on their website, on their account. They can ask a question. They can jump on a phone. They know exactly what's going on. But I think a lot of the differentiator in these days, because there's so many marketing agencies out there, is can they do what they say they do? Do they have the runs on the board? How's the reputation of the company? Can they prove or match their strategy with your business goals and not just do like cool stuff because it makes them look cool in their respective marketing field? Because what that marketing channel has to impact that P&L and L and that bottom line and help them achieve their goals. And personality. Do you actually like it's friends at the end of the day? Do you want to work with people that you actually like? And that's the reason why we hang out at Ecom Collab Club, or we started Dreamland, and we build the relationships. Because at the end of the day, people want to work with other good people. So starting Dreamland, for example, was like our opportunity to just make better friends in e-commerce. And you're not going to like everybody, and there's some people that are not going to get along. But at the end of the day, we want to try and um, build something and have fun for people who they work on this stuff all the time. So we want to be able to make it a bit more fun and enjoy it, and work with people that actually, yes, we want to achieve goals, and yes, we want to do this, but also have fun with them.
Yeah.
Bit of a long-winded answer there, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah, no, I think I always say, let's face it, we all go networking, we all organize events for the reason of business development, and we want to get more sales, get our brand out there, get more people to recognize that, and then contribute in that kind of monetary value in all the end. But it is so much nicer to work with nice people, and people always buy into people. I think that's the most important thing when it comes to all of this. So I understand where kind of your drive comes from, because we're doing the same thing in Longcom and so on. So for sure, a very interesting one. I do have to jump a little bit off topic, because I have to ask you questions every time that I speak to brands about SEO, and every time that I speak with agencies. And they say, you as an e-commerce brand, you need to do SEO, and then there is this, like, a little bit of doubt, because everybody sees SEO as a long game, as something that they need to invest a lot of money on monthly retainers with the agency, a lot of effort into, and then they're going to see results in 6 months, a year, and so on. While e-commerce is so fast moving, and PPCs can get you the sales straight away. An influence program or an affiliate program can also get you the results much faster if it's the right fit. But my main question for you is going to be: is SEO really a long game, or is there something that can be done quite fast to show the results that you guys as SEO agencies do?
There are gonna be quick wins in SEO. Yes, SEO is a long-term game, and SEO in that context is SEO is a long-term game in the fact that unless you have unlimited amounts of money, and this is the funny thing with brands, a lot of brands I'm gonna go off topic here. A lot of brands, should have probably died pre-corona. All right? They should have, because they were no good. But they got a bit of a kick post-corona because everyone had a bit of money. They were getting paid to stay at home, and they had a COVID bounce. A lot of those brands are now copping it because they should have died 5 years ago. They had a bit of a bump. They think, "Why can't we keep on going?" And they never invested in SEO, and they just rode the wave of all that interest. And now what's happening is a lot of brands, "Oh, I should have done SEO all those years ago. I should have done XYZ, but all I've done is pump money into ads." And you know what? I get it, because I've been on the other side and I look at it, go, you pay money, you get to number one, great. If you for ad copy's great, rinse and repeat. But unless you have unlimited money, which a lot of these brands are realizing because VCs have dried up, or they weren't financially savvy, they don't have that pot of money at the end of the rainbow. So SEO is a long-term channel that you can own, that you can continually build, you can continually grow. It's like going to the gym. You're not gonna get Arnie in a day. But because e-commerce is so fast moving and win, 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 now, people get lost in their own bubble, and it happens. But SEO is that thing that you can build for the long term. And once you get to the top, you have to work just as hard to stay there. So PPC, SEO, complementary. They should work together. If you're a brand starting out, you're not going to have a bunch of cash lying around. But as Grace Beverly says, one of her first tips in her brand new course is SEO, because it's something that you can work on, you can control, and you can build. Now, that's the long-term aspect, but there are quick wins in SEO. So from an e-commerce perspective, how is your collections pages? How's your H1 headings? How's your above the fold content? How are they laid out? How's that structure? How is your actual navigation bar structure? Does it actually make sense for someone who you are trying to entice to buy? how's your product page look? Because with AI overviews and Google changing, a quick yep, product page. If you've got like 2 sentences on your product page and like 2 images that look terrible, that's your final step that someone's got to then make that link to then buy. That product page, if that doesn't have clear imagery, great product descriptions, great features, great benefits, things about the brand, cross-selling, other products you may like, key differentiators, maybe you're a B Corp or it's organic cotton using or whatever it might be, on that product page, reviews, UGC, all that type of stuff, and you structure it in a nice logical flow, that is one of your final destinations for your users to go and buy from you. So that's where like SEO is a long-term game in the grand scheme of things, but there are quick wins you can do, but it also depends on how your website's set up. How do you have a dev? Do you have is your navigation set up correctly? What's because it's all about the foundation you're working with as well. And sometimes people's websites, they're not, the foundations are terrible. And that's why they move to Shopify and they rebuild it. Um, so that's where you're looking at. You can get some quick wins from a technical SEO perspective, from a content perspective, but building links and doing DPR is digital PR is a bit longer term. Building content, if you've got no one to create the content and you might do one blog every 3 weeks, well, then yeah, it's going to be take a bit more time. So there are long-term aspects to SEO, but there are short-term wins that you can gain as well.
Okay. Now, I think to anybody listening to this, especially e-commerce brands, I think Anthony just has perfectly described on how the SEO is complex altogether. So it's not all about keywords. There's this bigger piece altogether about everything, and you've, I think, described that perfectly. And I think I just want to move back a little bit on how you started this kind of explanation altogether, that e-commerce brands are looking at it completely wrongly in saying that COVID, and they want to just continue everything that happened at COVID time. And we're seeing that same, when we are forecasting the inventory, let's say for the next year, we always remove COVID from the equation, because it's an outlier. You can't base your
Yeah.
growth of sales, your growth of inventory needs and so on based on COVID. And then the brands always question us, is like, why did you remove it? What's the reason for it? We can model it on it. And we always like, we can say, but you can't. It's it was a global pandemic, a globally big event that is influencing your sales and everything that went around there. So, but no, thank you very much for sharing that, and definitely a very, very kind of useful tips, I would say, to anybody listening about SEO and how you can do some maybe quick wins. I think definitely people can, and businesses can read out from what you said here. I also want to ask you a little bit about the challenges that you are currently facing with StudioHawk. I know that you might mention here, the competitiveness that there is in the UK market, especially with a number of marketing agencies. But is there anything else? And where are you currently kind of with StudioHawk when it comes to the growth and the plans and the challenges that come off the back of that?
Yeah, our growth plans are pretty much, in the long term, I want to try and get this to, 30, 40 people, hitting 4, 5 mil overall and building up to that and following in the footsteps of Australia. But it's a harder market. So the challenges at the moment are, look, sales for everyone. I think ghosting is a massive problem. I think a lot of people in brands might not have worked in agency and they don't understand how it works. And when people come it's sometimes it's just the ghosting thing is a big problem in the UK, and it's a genuine waste of time because and I know a lot of agencies listening and friends of ours be like, and all I do is speak to them and go, "How's it going?" Yeah, a lot of conversations, a lot of emails, ghosting, ghosting. So, do people at these brands have a heap of time to waste? Like seriously, because ghosting is a massive problem here in the UK. So sales are a massive issue. I think for a lot of agencies, I think a lot of people who, again, did kickstart in Corona, some of them, if they broke the friends and family barrier, built a bit of a, pipeline and they kept on going. But a lot of people will be struggling, I think, because it's just longer lead times. What used to be a small client for maybe a couple of grand a month is now taking 3, 4, 5 weeks, sometimes months. Lead times are kicked out. Ghosting is big time. People on the brand side, they're looking for 3, 4, 5 quotes. And agencies, the pitching process does take a bit out of you. So then you never hear from them again. And then did that brain just steal all the ideas and do it themselves? Things like that. So I think sales are people are struggling with, and leads and pipeline and ghosting is a big one, not just for us, but for a lot of agencies. The next step, other challenges are going to be Yeah, continuing to market yourself and continuing to keep going to the well and keep putting your best foot forward when things are tough. Things is the world is made. The world is it's a tough place. And in the UK, economically, it's not boom times at the moment. And a lot of people have cut marketing, cut their sales, made redundancies. And when the big boys are making redundancies, the smaller guys and the small agencies, they're already copped it a little while ago. So I think it's a challenging time. It's overall from an economic perspective, from a cultural perspective, from a everything perspective, cost of living, inflation. People don't have as much to spend. BCs have dried up. Interest rates are high. The free flowing money isn't what it was like a few years ago. So I think sales is the overarching challenge, and B2B sales is what a lot of people on the agency front will be struggling with, but it's not helped by the ghosting and the current climate of the world. And I think they're struggling to navigate that because have they experienced things like this? All I hear is these last 2 years are the worst 2 years since the post GFC, with a lot of people who were around at that time, right? And a lot of people have only gone through boom times in digital world. So do they know how to navigate this? And even on the brand side, do they know how to navigate it when they had such boom times post corona? So that's where I think the big overarching theme is sales and ghosting and the overall challenge of how to navigate the world and continue looking at glass half full.
Yeah. And you're looking, it's not easy. I think anybody who says that it's not experienced in these days, I think in 24 and 23, is lying in a way. And I would say as well, the amount of tasks that I have in my CRM on follow-ups is absolutely ridiculous. But it's just like if you're not interested in the service, or you said that you were interested and all of a sudden you're not because you don't have the money, you saw the proposal and think, just tell me, I don't want to spam you. I really don't want to. I just want to look for other opportunities in case you don't want to. So, but I don't know. I woke up today, 17 follow-ups. It's a Tuesday. I don't follow up on a Monday and a Friday. So it's always between Tuesday to Thursday. I mean, 17 follow-ups. Like it's a lot, isn't it? That's both from referrals, from partnership, from potential brands coming on board and things like that. But I think also, having a war currently happening, having, recent elections of the US, UK has been a mess this year when it comes to politics. It does impact us smaller businesses. And I think all of us are gonna have to admit that we do experience it, on a daily level. So there's all of these things that we try to juggle, and it's not only one thing. It's always going to be multiple that results in a lot of headaches and stress, I would say.
100%. It's life, mate. People like I get it. People have things to juggle. People might not be as much on their emails. People might not like. I get it. But for us and the agency world, I'd hope. I know there's some people that still do this, but the cold calling, spamming stuff, people are sick of it, and that's why you build the relationships and do the events and things like that. But if you're busy, tell us. If it's not the right thing, tell us. Do you think we want to sit there and like hit emails and try and call up head offices and go, "Hey, mate, you actually outreached to us. So and so friend of ours actually introduced us. You said you were keen on X. Now we're not like." All it is a simple answer, mate. And I think sometimes ego gets in the way. I think sometimes people they just don't want to say no. Um, and I get it. I've gone through that. We all, as we develop and grow and get older and build our spine and build our experience, you get better at trying to say no and things like that. But I think a lot of people just like, oh no, it's not the right time because the CFO said this. Tell us, mate. Like, just let us know. Then we can save our time because it's a waste of time for everybody. But yeah, I think mate, just let us know.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. To any e-commerce brands, just let us know. I love that. I think I'm gonna cut that into a YouTube short and this post it out everywhere. Yeah. But I look, Anthony, I wanna then also slowly a little bit talk about the partnership side of things. So it was very natural to me. I think we're of the same mindset when it comes to, networking and events and how to build a business all together. But also our services are very completely different. You guys do SEO, we're focusing on data migrations and data analytics side of things, and there's this always overlap of the data migrations that we support our clients with, and then you guys can support on the SEO piece as well. So for us, definitely a no-brainer. And thank you very much for having StudioHawk as a partner of ours.
100%, mate. And that's how we grew. We built through building relationships with people who don't do what we do. And we were able to build event software. We were able to meet people. I didn't know anyone when I came to the country. So the one thing we had to do is go to networking, go to BNI, look at Eventbrite, find complementary people that work well. And you know what? Sometimes it'll work, sometimes it doesn't. There's not going to be leads for everybody all the time, but knowing the right people and getting to build friendship with the right people. And it's not you don't make friends in a day. Well, some people do, but you build it over a long term because you got businesses at stake, you got reputations at stake. So people have to know, like, and trust you and get comfortable and understand that you, if they're going to vouch for you and they're going to send you to their trusted clients or trusted leads, you're going to do a good job. So building those relationships, mate, that's why we're here. And that's why we've been able to both grow through those relationships, which then spin off other opportunities. But at the end of the day, it's building those relationships and just making friends.
Yeah, exactly. And coming back to what you said previously, now it's always much nicer when there are nice people, in two partnerships and then working together. But no, very very much appreciate that. As I said, this as part of Longcom, also want to thank you for recognizing the opportunity, kind of partnering up with us and looking at the future and what we can do together. I'm sure that that's bright. But to wrap all of this up, I do have three quick questions that I constantly ask people. So this can be something from business, from personal life, whatever. So they're quite quick ones, but what I'm very interested in, the first one is I want to hear that if you had a magic wand, what would you change?
Personally, professionally, or just in general?
Oh, whatever you want to say.
If I had a magic wand, what would I change? Um, I'd probably be 6'4" and have played football and had a successful career in football. That would have been great. Um,
Agency life, huh?
Agency life, yeah, I know. For me, if I had a magic wand, I think I'd love to just have a few more elements at StudioHawk that can help with the running of it, which at the moment we're doing. But like anything, if I had a magic wand, I'd love that. I'd love that marketing manager now. I'd love that head of sales now. I'd love a few of those head of partnerships. And we've both got we know the same people in the e-com industry who I'm thinking of right now. But like, I love one of you right now. I'd love one of you right now, Nathan. If you're watching, if you could clone yourself, Nathan, and just be the head of sales for me, that would be awesome. But that would be a magic wand, I think, from an agency perspective is, we all want everything now, now, now. And but that would be one thing from an agency perspective. I'm like, yes, I'd love a few of those roles that just supercharge it, but we'll get there.
Okay, okay. I'm gonna read off from that you want growth, which is always a good thing for sure. Although I did thought that you were gonna say that you would like to erase ghosting over the back of the conversation because
Legend. There you go.
very
Erase
good.
ghosting. Erase egos, erase ghosting, and read my. If I had a magic wand, I'd read minds. There we go.
Cool, cool. Love that. Love that. Next one is the coolest project you ever worked on.
I think for us, from an SEO perspective, a client of ours is Grind Coffee. And Grind Coffee is a really cool brand that just doing bits. It's like some of the collabs they do, like Grind and Green Day. Now they're Grind in British Airways. Like it's pretty cool. So in terms of clientele, that's one, but we do love all our clients. But I'm gonna shout out Grind is one of those cool ones that we do work with. It's just they're just doing bits.
Yeah, cool. Love that. Love that. Love the brand as well. Big coffee lover. So of course they're very, very, very known in the UK, especially. Okay. And the last one is what's hot and what's not.
What's hot? From an SEO perspective, what's not hot at the moment is Google hitting site reputation abuse. So putting in manual penalties and absolutely killing. So the latest one is Forbes. So Forbes getting absolutely smashed and disappeared. So people who have done a bit of programmatic SEO and spam SEO have been smashed. Forbes have done a bit of a tricky 301 redirect to get around that and ranking again, but it's going to be a bit of a cat and mouse game there. So what's not is probably the programmatic SEO and AI type stuff that we've seen in the past couple of years where Google is now starting to hit those guys. What's hot? What's hot in SEO will always be having a good, clean website that Google and people can use and quality content that not only answers questions, but when people read it, they understand your tone of voice, they understand the messaging, and the impression they get is something of quality and something of greatness and something of value when they read it. Because when they're reading your content, they're reading you. So if it's just AI spam, well then, you haven't put much effort in, have you? So when you're trying to get someone to buy from you, you haven't put much effort in, so why are they gonna care? So what's hot is always gonna be quality, 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 looking after your customers and providing the best experience possible. You can't go wrong really by putting your best foot forward.
Okay, great advice here. Now, Anthony, look, I'm gonna slowly close this partnership chat. I just want to say, everybody listening to this, to check out Studio Hawk. They have, we'll put a link to in the description for the website, and as well as Anthony's LinkedIn profile. So feel free to reach out to Anthony if you're interested to hear more about Studio Hawk as well. Also, if you learn something interesting here, please hit subscribe button. We do need those subscribers to keep this channel active and going. But Anthony, thank you very much for your time, and yeah, calling this partnership over.
Thank you very much, Stefan. Anytime, always happy to chat and, wax lyrical about the world of marketing in the world.
Love it. Love it. Thank you, Anthony.
Thanks, bye.